We can all agree that Ferrari's season has been a disappointment. After 3 races, we were already asking whether they would be runaway champions. The F175 was that good. But as things progressed, the massive reliability problems with the engine, specifically the turbo, came to light, and then their development just wasn't on par with their competitors. Pressure has been building, and Mattia Binotto might be the breaking point. Are Ferrari about to get rid of their team principal? And who is favourite to replace him? Let's check it out. Rumours regarding Binotto's future at Ferrari have spread more than once this season. They've thrown away point after point this season with horrible strategy mistakes and engine reliability problems that have left Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz beating their steering wheels in rage at times this season. We can understand the reliability problems with the engine to a point. No performance upgrades are allowed until the new engine rules come in 2026, but reliability upgrades are. Renault have followed the same plan, sacrificing reliability this season for performance later on in this engine cycle. We'll have to wait and see if that decision works out or not. The strategy errors have been crippling though, especially for Charles Leclerc's title challenge. The Silverstone one was particularly embarrassing. Ferrari weren't prepared for a safety car and weren't capable of making a quick enough decision to get him in for some fresh tyres. He was sat in front of his teammates Carlos Sainz, Red Bull Sergio Perez and Mercedes Lewis Hamilton, all on brand new tyres. He was a sitting duck, and every single one of them passed him with ease. Mattia Binotto made excuses, but there was no hiding the fact that Ferrari had made a massive blunder, just one of the many in 2022. If Ferrari had got things right on the pit wall, could Leclerc have challenged Max for the driver's title? We will never know, but I'm sure you have an opinion, so share it down below. As recently as mid-November, Ferrari dismissed reports that Mattia Binotto is to be replaced as team principal by Alfa Romeo's Fred Vasseur as totally without foundation. The Italian publication Gazzetta dello Sport claimed Vasseur is held in high esteem by the Stellantis group and that he would replace Binotto in January. But Ferrari responded by issuing a statement in which they categorically stated no such move was in the pipeline. In response to speculation in certain media regarding Scuderia Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto's position, Ferrari state these rumours are totally without foundation, read the team's statement. So Ferrari have denied that Mattia is getting sacked, but reports are saying he may go another way. Another Italian newspaper, Corriere della Sera, claimed that Binotto had come to the conclusion that he should not continue at Ferrari because he did not feel he had the full trust of President John Elkann. From the statements that Elkann has given, you can understand how Binotto has come to the conclusion that his boss doesn't trust him anymore. We have great faith in Mattia Binotto and appreciate everything he and all our engineers have done, but there is no doubt that the work in Maranello, in the garage, on the pit wall and at the wheel needs to improve, Elkann told Gazzetta dello Sport. Any compliment that's followed with a but isn't actually a compliment. You just don't want to hurt the person's feelings with your criticism. He continued by saying, "We must continue to make progress, and that goes for the mechanics, the engineers, the drivers, and obviously the entire management team, including the team principal. We have seen that there are still too many mistakes when it comes to reliability, driving, and strategy. Putting our trust in Binotto and his team was the right decision, and it has paid off. Thanks to them, we are competitive and winning again, but I'm not satisfied because I think we can always do better." So if the Ferrari boss John Elkann thinks his team can do better, who is it that will take them there? Mattia hasn't really been that bad a boss. Yes, there have been problems, but when he took the top job in 2019, the team made real progress. Sure, that progress would be halted by an FIA rule clarification that ruined their engine for the next 2.5 seasons, but this year they have made a jump from a distant third in the Constructors' Championship to challenging for race wins at almost every circuit. Well, there are a few options to replace Mattia, and they're both very exciting. Perhaps the most exciting is the potential return of Ross Brawn to team management. Brawn is a legend of the Formula One world. He was Ferrari's technical director during Michael Schumacher's dominance, part of a management team that rightly received a huge amount of credit for giving Michael a platform to perform. He had his own team, Brawn GP, whose one season in Formula One brought them an unbelievable Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. The team was then bought by Mercedes, and Brawn is credited with laying the groundwork for Mercedes to dominate the turbo hybrid era and teaching Toto Wolff everything he knows. Ross Brawn is the real deal. He is currently the managing director of Formula One, but has said he wants to take a step back from the sport during the winter. Does he mean from F1 management or from F1 as a whole? If he does go to Ferrari, then bet on them to challenge for titles in the near future. The other name that is doing the rounds is that of Alfa Romeo boss Frederick Vasseur. His name was in the mix before the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and upon entering the paddock on race day, he was asked by onlooking reporters for his opinion. The Frenchman gave an extraordinary answer. "I'm not going to say anything about it. You'll find out soon enough." It is unbelievable that he wouldn't just straight up deny that rumour. His lack of denial is enough to convince a lot of the Formula One world that Mattia is on the way out. Of all the team principals on the grid, he is the likeliest man to make the move. He knows the Ferrari engine well, having suffered with it throughout 2022. He's also in the unfortunate position that his team is about to be taken over by a huge company, who will no doubt want to install their own boss. With the Audi takeover of Alfa Romeo imminent, Fred will know that his job's expiration date is likely the end of 2025, and if the chance to make a move to a huge team like Ferrari came up, he would be hammering at the door for an opportunity. Worryingly for Mattia, his own drivers seem to be ready for a change. Charles Leclerc acknowledges Ferrari needs to change something. "I think we have to change the way we make decisions," he told the media. "To be better on Sunday, that's what you have to change." He was then asked if to change the way decisions are made, Ferrari needed to change the people. He replied, "No, not necessarily. It's also the way you come to conclusions. It's the way the communication between the different engineers in the team works, so that it's clearer. It is the way you have to focus on the important things, and not on the details that then make you lose." Carlos Sainz was more committed in his answers. He backed Mattia, saying that teams need building. You can't just chop and change until you get the right combination. Asked by Sky F1 what he wants to see happen and whether stability at the top is required, Sainz replied, "I won't get into what I prefer. I don't prefer. I just know from experience Rome wasn't built in a day, and you need to take into account where we are coming from. Did you see the progress we've done as a team in these last 2 seasons? It's huge, and the team is working well." From a personal perspective, the Spaniard knows he can give more. He had 6 retirements in 2022, and only 2 of those, in Azerbaijan and Austria, were due to his car breaking down. The other 4 were down to accidents, either of his own making or with an outside influence. Australia and Japan were entirely down to Sainz, whereas at Imola and Austin, he could only be blamed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, as Daniel Ricciardo and George Russell respectively were more at fault. He has been allowed to fight with Leclerc this season, but if there is a change at the top, he might not be given that freedom anymore. If Mattia was to go, it would be a huge setback for Ferrari. He has brought the team forward while he's been there, even if he has made mistakes. Changing the man at the top could have a knock-on effect on the team as a whole as well, slowing down their development for the season to come. The aim for Ferrari has to be to challenge Red Bull in 2023. Is having Mattia at the helm the best way to do that? Well, why don't you tell us in the comments section down below? And until I see you next time, drive safe and bye for now.